At the point 1, 0.
Let's see, 1, 0. That's correct. Okay. So
and the actual problem is to find the slope and then find the equation of the tangent line.
Perfect. Okay. So we know that this is y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1, in which I know that this will be 1 and this will be 0. The only thing is to determine the slope. Well, the slope will be given by the derivative, right? The derivative at 1 will be the slope of the tangent at p. We know that. But I cannot plug in 1 in a function I don't have. I have to determine the function first. So first I have to find f prime of x. And then I will plug in 1, and that answer will go in here, and I'm done. Any questions before we continue? Do we understand the steps? Okay, no one said anything, so I'm assuming that you're with me. Okay, can anyone give us the definition of the derivative?
X plus h of this derivative or the derivative in general.
The definition of the derivative. Should I dig up my?
It's x plus. This one will be x plus h squared minus. I'm sorry, the function of x plus h.
Okay, I have to dig up my stuff. Okay. The derivative is a combination of two concepts. We cannot leave out any of the two concepts. So the first concept is the limit. The second concept is the difference quotient. When we talk about the derivative, we have to have both in the same. In order to determine that, in order to find the derivative, we have to put these two concepts together. I cannot write the equal symbol and start here. That would be incorrect. Okay, so let's start again.
F prime of x equals the limit as h approaches 0.
Excellent.
Equals x plus h.
Yes, f of x plus h. Very good. Minus f of x divided by h. Good. So now this is very clear. It will be x minus x cubed, of course, with minus in front. So these will be changed. But now I have to determine this piece. So we either stop for a moment and try to determine this on the side, and then I'll come back and continue later so that I don't have to continue with the whole thing. So I think this is better just for this function because it's a lot of writing to, we have a lot of writing to do. So f of x plus h first. Can anyone get us started? How do we start this?
Would it be x plus h in parentheses
minus first? It has to be minus first.
Minus and then in parentheses x plus h cubed.
Okay. Now I know that this. We have a formula, but I'm not asking you to remember or memorize that formula. It's not difficult. We can use Pascal's triangle or combinatorics, but forget it. So I need this, right? Which is x plus h times x plus h squared. Do we agree with this step?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, someone please make me proud and give me this quantity.
X squared plus 2x h plus x.
I'm very proud. Thank you very much. And now I can distribute x to these three and then h to these three. I have to get 6 terms initially. X distributed to 3 terms and then h distributed to 3 terms. So x times x squared, of course, x cubed. X times this, 2x squared h. X times this, xh squared. H times this, h times this, and h times this. Now let's stop for a moment and let me ask you if everyone could follow this.
Yeah. sense.
Perfect. So now let's try and see if we can simplify this. Okay, obviously I have to start with x cubed, then the term with x squared, and I see 3 of those. And then the term with x, and I see 2 of those, here and 1 here, so 3. And then plus h cubed. This is what will replace this piece. Okay, so now I'm going to put this square, or the rectangle if you want to, so you know where I'm continuing. So I'm jumping over all this. So limit as h approaches 0. I'll copy all this because it's in the first term, first piece. X cubed plus 3x squared h plus 3x h squared plus h cubed. Remember what we said, minus x, but plus x cubed divided by h. After all this, what do we know has to happen next? For sure. Otherwise, we have a boo-boo, or I have a boo-boo somewhere.
The h's in the numerator have to cancel out with the h in the denominator.
No, that's not the first step.
All the x's cancel. All the terms.
So you notice what I did, right? I know you noticed, but you're too kind to tell me that I made a big error. I only copied this piece without copying this. This should have been in front. Thank you for being so kind to me. You shouldn't have. So I have the minus in front. So all these. So now I'm not going to waste your time correcting this. So I'm going to continue. I just copied this piece instead of copying the whole thing. F of x plus h is x plus h minus all this. So my apologies for that. I jumped without thinking. So here it is. So we have limit. I realized that negative x will not cancel with anything else. And I said, whoops, what did I do? Ah, and then I realized that I copied partial. Okay, so I have to copy x plus h first. Then I have to put the minus in front of all this, well, it will change all signs to the opposite. So negative x cubed, negative 3x squared h, negative 3x h squared, and minus h cubed. And now finally I have this piece. This is it. The x plus h minus all this. All this, which is here. So sorry about that. Okay, now minus x plus x cubed. That's how we check or find our mistakes, right? I realize that, now all terms without h must go away. And if some terms with h go away, that's even nicer. Thank you very much. So x will go away with negative x. Negative x cubed will go away with positive x cubed. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. What is the next step? So please do not reverse the steps. First, all terms without h must go away. If they don't, that's what I was saying. I was making a big boo-boo by not copying the function correctly. Okay, so the next step is
H and have it simplify with the denominator.
good. So let's see what is left, and that's what will follow next. So what we have here, and how many terms?
You have 1 minus 3x squared minus 3xh minus h squared.
Excellent. So I have 4 terms. I have to have 4 terms in parentheses. Okay, finally, this gets dropped because we are applying the limit now. We apply this operator to this function. We don't no longer copy it. We get the final answer.
And since we're going to 0 for h, it's going to be 1 minus 3x squared minus h squared.
No, h squared is 0, so
That's it. Awesome. This is indeed a derivative of function. So function f of x, x minus x cubed. Indeed, it's derivative function. The function that gives us the rate of change of this function at any point where this is differentiable, but its polynomial will be differentiable everywhere, is 1 minus 3x squared. We are interested in the point 1 comma 0. I called it p. You don't have to call it anything, but it's easier for me to explain. So I have everything. I just have to plug in 1 in this. Can anyone give us f prime of 1?
-2.
Thank you very much. So now I have here -2. So y minus 0 is just y equals -2x minus 1, -2x minus 1. I distribute, and then plus 2. So this is the equation of the tangent line to the graph of this at this point P, where the slope is -2. So if this is point P, the slope being -2 is something like this. I didn't graph the function. It could be this way, or it could be this way. I don't care, but it's a negative slope, so the slope here is -2. The equation of this tangent to the graph of function f of x at P is this. Perfect question. Next.
We the same problem using f of x minus f of a over x minus a.
I couldn't understand what you're saying, Christine. I'm sorry. What is this the same problem you said?
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me? I'm on my laptop audio.
No, it's not you. It's my computer. Something is wrong with the sound at my end, not at your end.
Okay.
So you're saying that
it's
it's the same problem?
Yeah, but can we solve it using using f of x minus fa over x minus a, that other equation?
But that is f prime of a. That is f prime of a. Yes, you can. It's the same thing. Yes. Then you will have limit as x approaches a from f of x minus f of a divided by x minus a.
Right. Can we go through the same problem?
Yes, yes, we can. It will be more difficult though. I wouldn't say it would be more difficult. I would probably factor, so that's why my mind will be okay. So this is then x minus x to the third minus a plus a to the third divided by x minus a. So we have to factor because it's not going to work, right? So when I plug in a, I get 0 over 0. So then I know that there must be a factor of x minus a at the top. So I will group these two, x minus a separate, and these two separate, x to the third minus a to the third, divided by x minus a. But if you don't remember how to factor x cubed minus a cubed into x minus a, x squared plus xa and plus a squared, then you're not going to be able to continue. So this is the difference of cubes formula. So in general, we have a cubed minus b cubed. If this is minus, then I have a minus b here. A cubed minus b cubed is a minus b. Then this gets squared. Then here we don't have the 2 that we have from a different formula, right, that we just used a minute ago, just the product. And then plus b squared. So that's how I got this. And this has to be replaced by this. And after that, we'll continue. We'll finish it up. After that, we have to factor out x minus a. Any questions so far before I move on to the next page?
Yeah, because I have the book open right now, and they solve it a little differently. They take the point that's given, and they use x, and they plug it into a.
So they are using 1. So they are using 1 here. I'm showing you the general method. You can replace anything by a by anything you want. If you have 2, you'll replace it by 2. If you have 1, you'll replace it by 1. It will be exactly the same.
We can use any of these methods if these questions are on the test.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I did not put 1 because I thought you wanted me to show f prime of a. But I can put 1. It's the same thing. Then it's 1 here, and 1 here.
No, we can continue with this. I'm just confirming.
Yeah. Of course.
I did the homework following that method.
And as I said, let me go back and dig up my papers again. I said when we talked about these 3. So these 2 are identical. It doesn't matter if you use this or this when you are asked to find f prime of a. You can find f prime of x and then plug in a at the end. If this is f prime of 1 you're looking for, find f prime of x and plug in 1 as we just did. Now, if you're asked to find f prime of x with a definition, you cannot use either one. You cannot use these 2. If you're asked to f prime of x, this is the only one. But if you're asked to find f prime of a, you can use any of these. It's up to you. Sometimes this is easier. Not in this case because of the factoring situation. But it's I'm fine with any of those if you're asked to find f prime of a.
Professor,
Yes, please.
on the bottom of that sheet, that where you have x minus a equals, that's x squared plus 2xa plus a squared, right?
No, that's what I said. This is a difference of cubes. Is not
Okay.
a minus b squared, which is indeed a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. This is the
Okay.
difference of cubes that does not have the 2 in front.
Okay.
Yep. Good. So then I'll continue with the triangle right here. So I have limit as x approaches. I'm going to change it now to 1. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So x minus 1 minus x cubed minus 1 over x minus 1. And the formula will be the same. It's just that it has 1 in it instead of a. Okay, so this will equal to limit as x approaches 1, x minus 1 minus x minus 1, x squared plus x plus 1. I just replaced a by 1. Okay, do not cross out anything. Please remember you have to simplify by factoring. And now you can simplify. So this is a 1 in here, and minus x squared minus x minus 1. These 2 go away. And we have, when we plug in 1, we get -2 as expected. And you can take it from here. And then once you have -2. So this method, the second one, needed you to refresh your memory on the difference of cubes. And of course, if this is the sum, then you have sum here and minus in the middle. So if you have the sum of cubes, then signs, the sequence of signs